Hey guys, this is Holmes from Whitebox Gaming. Today I'm going to walk you through the new Lost in Outer Space version 1.2. So let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to point out a few new things here that we have that we didn't have before. So I'm just going to show you, this is the keyboard. So you can now use your left and right arrow keys on the keyboard to navigate. I have a controller here. This is using the controller, and I can navigate with that. I can even click things with the controller. We actually got an email from one of our players that the controller was working on Linux, but it had a problem like where it was like overly sensitive. And I tested it, and I found out that they were right, of course. So there is actually a little bit of a delay in the controller, only in the navigation. So when you're navigating between screens, like this one, for example, you're going to get a bit of a delay. Now, let's go over and go over some things that we've changed. So I'm going to turn the music volume down. Let's lower the sound effects. Alright, so while we're in settings, let's go ahead and take a quick look at this. So this is the audio screen by default, obviously, that comes up. You can test your audio. Do you hear sound? Yes, I hear it. You can go in here and you can test your controller. So I was telling you have controller support. Let me go over here to where I'm not at a screen where I could actually click something. So that's the other thing. Because the controller support is fully supported on this screen, you want to be careful when you're clicking on here, because let's say if I click on audio, for example, and I'm testing my button over here, it will actually select that. So be careful when you're testing. And yes, in case you're wondering, yes, I am using a USB Super Nintendo-like controller to test, so that's why we have the icon. But it does work on the more modern controllers as well, like the Xbox controller or whatever, that works too. It's just I happen to use the retro controller because that's the one I'm most comfortable with. All right, so let's test our WASD. Seems to be working. Excuse me. And let's test the spacebar. Make sure I'm back on controller. Spacebar is working. Yep, see there, it's detecting my key presses. All right, so now we have our next option, which is our account, which I can go in here and I can change my email. I can update my password, my handle, and we don't have any other titles currently. But as I mentioned before, we're going to update that and we're going to add titles. So that'll be something in the near future. All right, so let's get out of here. Let's go look at some other improvements. All right, so once again, we can navigate, and I'll just use my game controller. We can navigate with our game controller. You can use this to kind of press on where you want to go. There's the main menu if you want to go back to that. Here's cosmetics. You know, no changes here. We've seen this before. You can buy stuff. All right, let's go back to the main menu. Let's go into information. Again, still navigatable, and I'm just using my gamepad. High scores, same deal. High kills, same deal. Let's go into the more tab. So this is the add-on. So you see co-op. Unfortunately, co-op is still not ready. Yeah, I know. But good news on that. I did get some feedback from some other developers who had some really good suggestions and solutions. So I'm going to look into those, and hopefully we'll have one in the next update. All right, so we have the chat. Of course, we all know about that. Team scores. Obviously, that's not going to be working. Credits. Credits works with the controller. So here's something new that we have. Let's go into community. And I'm going to use my mouse because it's not exactly ideal to navigate in community with a gamepad. In fact, we've disabled some of the options in game. So it kind of forces you to use your keyboard and mouse just because we don't want to take away from the experience. So some of this is accessible and some of it's not. So we'll start with the first. So we have a Discord, which is what we recommend that you use. We like WBG chat, don't get me wrong. But we recommend, if you're going to chat, that you do voice chat over Discord or text chat over Discord. It's because Discord's, just a much more elaborate system than the basic chat system that we have. All right, so that's the chat tab. And there's more to come on that as well. So let's go into social. So in social, right now we only have our 2 Twitter accounts listed. There are actually more. We just haven't listed them yet. So keep that in mind that there is more. But this is what we have currently. So to give you guys an idea of what community is. So community does 3 things. Community brings you closer to us in the idea of helping you have a better gaming experience with us. But it also, we want to bring you closer to streamers, people who stream our content and other content. It doesn't have to be just our games because, we're not so big-headed that everybody should only play our games. No, it's not the case. If people enjoy a variety of games, so we want you to enjoy a variety of games. So we want to introduce you to streamers and developers who have really interesting games coming out, or they're just really interesting streamers. Give you an example here. Polygoat is a really good friend of mine on Twitter. He has a really cool game that he's working on. It's in 3D. It's a really good game. I highly recommend that you go there, click on this YouTube link, watch his game video, and check out his game. It's really cool. He's a really cool guy. The rest of these guys have really cool projects as well. So go ahead and check them out. Let's move on. So here's strictly for streamers. So if you're not a big YouTuber guy, like you're not really into watching videos, YouTube videos, that's fine. You're more of into watching live action, whatever. These guys are all our friends as well. Some of them we went on there and we've done shows with them. These guys are really cool. They're all of them have their own Twitch and they're pretty active. So go in there and check them out. Our Facebook and LinkedIn will just simply load our LinkedIn and Facebook pages. So if you want to like us on Facebook or follow us or whatever, that's great. You can do that just by clicking on this. Coming back to the Twitch real quick though, for the streamers out there watching this and you want to get your name on here, I will go into how you get your name on this list as well. And same for you YouTubers. I can show you how you get your name on this list as well. All right, so let's go over news real quickly. So the news section is just going to simply tell you, it's be like an RSS feed or something, just really small tidbits of what's going on, like the highlights of what we've been doing. So as you can see right now, we're in the testing phases of Lost in Outer Space version 1.2, which is the video that we're doing this on. We're doing this video because I feel like the release is ready. We went through a lot of testing, and I feel like it's pretty much there. I'm just waiting on a few people to sign off on it, and then we're good to go. All right, so next tab we have here is promotional code or promotion code. So what is this? So what happens is we have promotional codes that are available to you that you may or may not be aware of. Most likely not aware of. And every time you create a new account, FYI, if you're a new user, you instantly have a promotional code available to you as well. So what are these though? So this is where you would simply type in this code, and it is case sensitive. Um, click enter, and whatever the reward is, it would give it to you. In this case, I believe it's coins. We will add a description at some point to where you can see what the actual reward is and determine if it's worth your time to type in the code or not. Chances are it'll probably always be worth your time to type in the code, but who knows. So that's what this is, though. This is just promotional codes just to kind of help you with the game. It's like free stuff. This is where we give away free stuff. Events. So events, this event passed. We thought we were going to have it, obviously, and we did not, because the co-op did not work as expected. So rather than give you a bad gaming experience, we just decided not to come out with co-op at all together, because we just couldn't figure it out with our consultant. Again, that's another can of worms, so it won't open. So what happens, though, is in events, anytime we sponsor an event like White Box Gaming, or let's say a streamer, for example, has an event that White Box Gaming is going to sponsor, it'll be posted in here, and it'll either be in a game, which in this case this event was Lost in Outer Space, and it was hosted by us, and there was a start time and a date, and then there's a description, and then the image, of course. So it'll either be with us, like on a particular game, or it could be on somebody's website. It could be virtually anything. So this is where you can come, though, to quickly find out. You don't have to go surf the internet and find out, oh, where's the events going on, for White Box Gaming. You don't have to go through any of that craziness. You can just come right in here, and it'll always be posted in here. All right, so we've talked a lot about streamers and YouTubers, and like we showed you the list, and it's kind of like, okay, well, how do I get on that list? All right, well, this is like what we're talking about when we're having the White Box Gaming coming to, you're having a better gaming experience, the streamers and YouTubers are having a better gaming experience, and the players are having a better gaming experience. So this is where all three things come in together. So in here we have 4 sections. So we'll start with affiliate. So if you wanted to get your name on that list and you're a streamer or a YouTuber, you can fill out one of these. Click on this and it'll take you to the application. To fill out an application, it tells you the requirements and whatnot. It doesn't cost anything, it's free, but you do need to read the guidelines and understand that there are requirements and there are things that you have to do to support us, for us to support you. So just read over the guidelines, make sure you agree to them, you understand them, and then you will most likely be accepted. So that's for affiliates, and then volunteers. You're considered an affiliate as well because you're not directly under our umbrella. You're more of like in the supportive role. So if you wanted to volunteer for something, volunteering could be like, I wanted to be a chat moderator, on Discord. I wanted to be a game tester, a beta tester, alpha tester, or hey, I want to submit some fan art. Great. We will totally, put it in probably one of our products and, display it. Things like that. Things if you want to just volunteer your time to be like, hey, White Box Gaming, I really like you guys. Like, I want to do something for you. Great. Fill out an application for a volunteer, which will ask you like some simple questions like, what are your skills and da 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 da. So we can kind of know where to put you, what we can suggest to you or whatever, so we know your strengths and weaknesses. Next thing is these are real jobs within the company for the next of these sections. So sales and marketing, obviously, if you want to apply for a marketing position, sales, whatever. Hey, you guys can read. I'm sure you can figure it out. So the one that's going to be the most common is going to be either streamer, YouTuber, or volunteer. So let's go take a look at these real quick, just so you kind of better understand what to expect. So right here, it's going to give you a description of the position, in this case, an affiliate. Oh, by the way, we can navigate too with our keyboard. I'm just using my mouse. And then it's going to give you the requirements of the position, like what you have to do. There's a whole calendar year in there, blah, 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 blah. Read through it thoroughly. All right, so here is the application process, nothing hard. Your stream URL. Looks like we have a little bit of a cutoff on some of these. So this wants to know like what gaming platforms you're using. So if I use the Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, Android, iOS, in real life, other Macintosh computer, Windows computer, Linux. What are you using to stream? Are you playing console games? Are you playing desktop games, phone games? Are you streaming in real life? Like, what are you doing, or something else? And then your media platforms, your social media platforms. Are you Twitter? Are you YouTube? Are you Instagram? Are you Facebook? Like, where are you at in the world? And then how many followers do you have? This is not necessarily like a requirement. It doesn't have to be 1 million followers. It can be one, or it could be 1,000. It doesn't really matter. We just kind of want to know. And then how many years have you been streaming? If you haven't even been streaming a year, you just put 0 because you haven't been streaming a year. Or you do 0.5 or whatever. Just fill that out and let us know. Next is description. Tell us about your stream. Like, what is it about? What are you mostly streaming? What do you do? And the next thing is, why do you want to be affiliated with us? Like, what makes us so special? What makes you so special? You are limited to 500 characters in both of these boxes. So, just make sure you get to the point. All right, so that's community. And again, that's kind of a big section. Let's go on to our last section that we're going to go over, which is help. So we'll start with general. So help is for all products, except for the gaming section. The game tab will always be specific to the game, but everything else will be very generic, and it'll be mostly related to the core systems, the WVG core systems. So basically, anytime you see this top banner, that's what it's related to as far as the help, or your account, or crafting, or whatever, the core systems that are going to be in every game that are not going to change. That's what help is mostly related to. But there is the game stuff. So let's go in here real quickly. So in the game sections, oh, by the way, this is navigatable again by your keyboard or game controller. So you're coming in here and you're like, oh, I want to find out what is the point of this game. Here's the objectives of the game. Who's the players? Tell me about the players. What's going on? Like, what do I do here? Here's the enemies. You want to find out anything you want to know, basically, a generic overview of the game. Come into help and then click on game, and it'll tell you how to play the game roughly and explain the basic mechanics of the game. All right, so, and if you're on the screen, you're trying to get back to the main menu, just click main menu, and it takes you right there. All right, thank you so much, guys. I hope this helps. By the way, we fixed a lot of bugs with the game. When you kill bosses now, you're supposed to get WVG coins, and you wasn't getting them prior. So I'm not really sure what was going on there initially, but we fixed that piece of code, and everything's working now. This should be a really well-polished version of the game. Let us know if you have any problems. All right, thank you, and please subscribe.